Hey everybody, what's going on? Joe Kalis coming in here with the Pale Hose Podcast for your weekly review of the week of June 10th to the 16th. Hope you had a great Father's Day weekend and enjoyed some White Sox baseball. This is a week in which we saw the White Sox reach the coveted, the untouchable, the oh my gosh, they got to 500 mark, and then just to drop down and lose that slot again. But pretty good week overall. Very, very much, again, it feels like I say this every week, but that's kind of par for the course for what I'm about to say. A very, very 500-ish sort of performance this week. The Sox ended up going 3-3 for an overall record of 34-36. Earlier this week on Friday, they had beaten the Yankees to reach the level of 500 for the first time, and everybody started chattering about, oh my gosh, are we going for the wild card spot? Only to get beat by the Yankees 2 games in a row after that. So they split the series with the Yankees, which is great. Convincing wins in the first 2 and convincing losses in the second 2. 2 games before that with Washington that they got destroyed 12-1, and then they won 7-5. So they split the series with Washington, split the series with New York. Very, very, very much a 500 performance, literally, with their record. So overall, on Monday, the 10th, they got absolutely destroyed by the Washington Nationals, 12-1, and the starting pitcher was Odrisamer Despaigne. Fun name to say. I like to call him Dreezy. Keep it easy, but Dreezy, keep it easy. You like that? So Odrisamer Despaigne pitched 6 innings in this game, gave up 3 earned runs and 7 hits, 2 strikeouts, 2 walks. So a very respectable outing for the pitcher that we brought up out of nowhere, that nobody had ever heard his name before, but actually did pretty well. But then they absolutely blew it in the back half of the game and got absolutely destroyed. So Monday was a loss against the Washington Nationals, only to be followed up the next day on Tuesday against the Nationals as well with Manny Banuelos, who pitched respectably well, but again, relying on Odrisamer Despaigne and Manny Banuelos pulled from the bullpen to be your starting pitchers is just a little bit disconcerting. So still concerned with the state of the starting rotation, but Banuelos pitched 4 2/3, 2 earned runs, 5 hits, 3 walks, and 2 strikeouts. So a little bit of a control problem. Sox ended up winning 7-5 on that one. And this game was especially exciting to watch, to see Wellington Castillo hit a grand slam, and ultimately the win for the pitching side came to Evan Marshall, who has been absolutely lights out. We'll talk about him in a bit, but got his first win of the season in a relief effort and got the Sox the win. So good stuff against Washington, closed out that 2-game set. And then on an off day on Wednesday, into a game on Thursday with the Yankees. And it was a 5-4 victory. Ivan Nova went 5 2/3, gave up 6 hits, 4 earned runs, 5 strikeouts, 2 walks. So kind of an innings-eating sort of outing, just like we've seen James Shields do in the past. Ivan Nova, I think, is very much just a kind of an innings-eating sort of pitcher. And 4 earned runs, not the worst outing in the world, but not the best. And it was just enough for the Sox to put up a 5 spot and get the victory against the Yankees. So that was very good to see that the Sox are playing well against a very respectable team like the Yankees. And then on Friday, they absolutely destroyed the Yankees, which was also very cool. 10-2 win on the back of Lucas Giolito's 6-inning, 4-hit, 1 earned run outing to become the first pitcher in the major leagues with 10 wins. How exciting is that? So definitely in consideration for All-Star starter, definitely in the consideration for Cy Young award winner, and just crazy. One season to the next, the difference in Giolito. So he had 4 walks, which is a little bit of a control issue. He was not happy with his day. The Sox ultimately got plenty of run support for a 10-2 win on Friday. So the Sox are feeling good. Giolito first to 10 wins, beat the Yankees 2 games in a row, and got to 500. Everything is looking up. And then on Saturday, they got clobbered 8-4 in a loss with Reynaldo Lopez, 6 innings pitched, 6 hits, 5 earned runs, 4 strikeouts, 2 walks. So we continue to see a very up and down performances by Reynaldo Lopez, which is a little bit concerning. Hopefully he can turn it around, make some tweaks like Giolito has this year, and end up becoming one of our starting pitchers. So that was Saturday, lost to the Yankees. And then on Sunday, Father's Day, they also lost the Yankees 10-3. Odrisamer Despaigne back for 4 1/3 innings. A lot worse of a performance. 9 hits, 7 earned runs, 5 strikeouts, and 4 walks. Control problems, lots of hits, lots of earned runs. it seems like we have 2 or 3 starting pitchers that are not going to be part of the future, and even if they get completely shelled this year and the Sox end up losing, I'm totally okay with it as long as the Sox are hitting and the key players that actually matter to the team are performing, like your Yoan Moncada, your Eloy Jimenez, Jose Abreu, Tim Anderson, James McCann, guys like that. As long as they keep performing, Lucas Giolito, and seeing hopefully Lopez can get it figured out. Those are the guys that matter, but everybody else, it's just a matter of how does the offense perform if the starting pitcher is getting drubbed. The starting pitcher that doesn't matter for the future of the team, totally okay with it. So overall this week, strangely, all of the offensive categories were improved. The Sox were hitting better, on base, slugging. All of those actually went up week over week, except for stolen bases. And they had 0 stolen bases in the last week, which is a bit concerning. They started off the season as one of the team leaders in stolen bases, and they have not stolen a base in the past week. So it's very peculiar. But all of their offensive categories were improved week over week, not to be outdone by all of the pitching categories to become worse. Week over week, all of the ERA, the WHIP, all of the pitching categories, strikeouts, they all went down this week. So offense was up, pitching was down, and again, kind of indicative of very much a 50-50 hit or miss sort of team that's not making a move and shouldn't make a move until we get some more of our pieces up. So some weekly highlights of offensive performance. Eloy Jimenez has been on an absolute tear amongst some others, but 6 games, 21 at-bats. He's got a 1.226 OPS. I think he hit 5 home runs in 6 games there, and is just absolutely seemingly getting comfortable, learning the pitching, learning his swing, and getting in a groove. So very excited to see Eloy Jimenez picking up the power numbers and getting on base a bunch for the White Sox. Jose Abreu in the same 6-game stretch, 25 at-bats, OPS of 1.12. So both Eloy Jimenez and Jose Abreu with over 1 OPS over the last week, along with James McCann. So the 3 of them, Eloy Jimenez, Jose Abreu, James McCann. James McCann with a 1.028 OPS. He's slugging 682 and getting on base 40% of the time. So it's very good to see those 3 guys that actually matter in the future. Assuming that they extend Abreu, obviously getting Abreu's numbers up can either make him tradable or prove to the Sox that he should get extended for 2 or 3 more years to go into the contention window. So we'll see about that. But very, very good offensive numbers last week from those 3. Very exciting to see. Pitching-wise, mentioned Giolito before, 6 innings pitched and just 1 earned run in his start. First pitcher to 10 wins, like we mentioned, so very, very exciting to see Giolito's resurgence and in the talks of the starting all-star pitcher and possibly Cy Young. So hopefully he can stay consistent throughout the year and not get injured and keep going on. So along with Giolito on the mound, Evan Marshall has been absolutely astounding. This past week, he pitched in 2 games, 2 1/3 innings, no earned runs, 1 hit, 4 strikeouts, no walks. So he has just been an absolute rock in the bullpen. And this season, he's let up 0 earned runs over 16 1/3 innings pitched. So my gosh, watching him to see if when and if he lets up 1 earned run this year. So far, he has not. And curious to see if they will use him as a trade piece at the trade deadline like they have in the past with bullpen arms, or just hang on to him. So Evan Marshall, Lucas Giolito holding down the pitching, and good stuff there. Some other notes, Yoan Moncada, he was out a couple games this week with some back issues, and again, yesterday he was removed. So wondering if he's going to go on the injured list. So far he has not been, but I wouldn't be surprised if they put him on the 10-day injured list. I could tell with his swing that it looked like he wasn't swinging all the way through, and his follow-through was not. He was grimacing a little bit. You could tell that his back was still having issues, coming back after 3 or 4 games off, and you could tell it was still an issue. So Yoan Moncada probably headed for the injured list, along with Wellington Castillo and Jace Fry, who's already on it. So I am making a bold prediction that for Yoan Moncada, they're going to bring up Danny Mendick. For Wellington Castillo, I think we're going to see Zach Collins. There's been some rumors there. Jace Fry, he is on the injured list already. There's a spot, the 13th pitching spot that they usually have filled is vacant right now. And I'm wondering, if we're ever going to see Dylan Cease. Is now the time. They need a pitcher, so wondering if they'll bring up Dylan Cease and put Banuelos back in the bullpen. That's my hope. So Moncada, Castillo, Jace Fry all injured. Hoping to see Danny Mendick come up from Charlotte, Zach Collins, and Dylan Cease. I think it's about time, so we'll see what happens this week. We saw Nicky Delmonico was released from the team. He also had season-ending shoulder surgery, so not sure what's going to end up with his future, but it's not going to be with the White Sox. Like I mentioned the name a couple times, Odrisamer Despaigne was called up, and Jace Fry was put on the 10-day injured list. That all happened on Monday the 10th. So on Friday and Saturday going in this weekend, the White Sox claimed a couple pitchers, right-handed pitchers, as free agents, Alan Beer and Vladimir Nunez. I don't know where they're going to go. I don't know who they are, but it might have been in response to the fact that Jordan Stevens was claimed off of waivers by the Cleveland Indians. So Jordan Stevens was a prospect name that we've been watching in the minor leagues, and he was waived and picked up by the Indians and actually demoted. He was put down to their AA ball club, which he's been in Charlotte AAA the whole year, not doing well. So he was claimed by Cleveland but demoted to AA. So wish him well, but it's not going to be with the White Sox either. So Nicky Delmonico and Jordan Stevens no longer a part of the White Sox organization at this point. But speaking of the White Sox organization and minor league talent, always looking at Dylan Cease this week. He had a no decision, 5 innings pitched, 7 hits, 4 earned runs, one strikeout, and 3 walks. So still some control issues. The last 2 starts for him have been pretty bad, and it's a little bit concerning. He's still got a 5-2 record. His ERA jumped to 4.37, and a little bit of concern there, but wondering if he's going to get the call up to the big club or not. So at a time when we need him, he's not been doing well, so got some control issues we need to work through, but hopefully we'll see Dylan Cease soon. Zach Collins, also a name that we might be seeing here soon. Last 10 games, he's had a 200 batting average, so he's not been doing well either, but we might have the need for a catcher coming up here soon to back up James McCann and Wellington Castillo. If he's injured and Zach Collins actually ends up coming up, I'm wondering what they're going to do with Wellington Castillo. If they're going to trade him or DFA him, we'll see how it goes. So lots to be seen this week, but Zach Collins not doing so well in the last 10 games, but may see his name called. In AA Birmingham, Luis Robert is cooling off a little bit in the last 10 games. He's got a 158 batting average. Overall, he's got a 848 OPS, so doing pretty well in Birmingham still, not nearly tearing it up as much as he was in Winston-Salem. With in 19 games in Winston-Salem AA, he had a 1.432 OPS, and that has dropped to 848, which is still respectable, but last 10 games, Luis Roberts had some issues, not tearing the cover off the ball like previously. On the flip side, in Birmingham, Nick Madrigal has been doing well, which is great, because as much as Luis Robert was doing great and now he's not, Nick Madrigal is about the opposite. He wasn't doing good and now he is. Last 10 games, 417 average, 1.417 OPS. And overall in AA Birmingham, through 10 games, he has got an average of 417. Oh yeah, so the last 10 games is the amount of games that he's played in AA Birmingham. So Nick Madrigal doing really well, and not sure if we're going to see him this season, but he's making a case for getting called up to AAA Charlotte. So good stuff with Nick Madrigal. A little bit of a cooling off with Luis Robert, Dylan Cease, and Zach Collins as well. Those 4 names are the ones that we'll be seeing next. Hoping to see some positive progression there. So anyway, that's your last week in the major and minor leagues with the White Sox system. So this past week was a 6-game homestand against the Washington Nationals and New York Yankees. And then next week, this week coming up, we got an off day today on Monday, but a 2-game set with the Cubs, so at Wrigley Field, but in Chicago, but technically away. So we got a short week this week, Tuesday, Wednesday against the Cubs, Friday, Saturday, Sunday at Texas against the Rangers. So 5 games this week coming up. Go White Sox.